I imagine an equitable future, it includes a region where people are housed, they have economic opportunities, they live in walkable and thriving communities, they are happy, healthy, and doing amazing. Today's climate is really challenging, from affordable housing issues to challenges with transit, climate change. There's a lot that's going on in our region that impacts people's everyday lives. MPC is here at the forefront, working on each of those issue areas on a systems lens to really make things better for people. We're unique because we have expertise across multiple issue areas. We're always centering community voice in our work. Some people are doing well and some people aren't, and that's why we're so focused on ensuring that there's racial and economic justice across each of our issue areas. That's how you're going to get to thriving communities, that's how you're going to get to equitable infrastructure, and that's how you're going to get to just public systems.
Housing for me is first and foremost a human right, and it is also the foundation and anchor of a community.
It makes you a real stakeholder in the community, and it helps you to stabilize the community, to really give you a voice to protect your acquisition. Some of the things that prevent people from becoming homeowners is a lack of knowledge about the resources that are available, the lack of knowledge of how to even start the process, particularly for BIPOC individuals and families.
We designed the Learning Lab, in which practitioners from all different industries that work with the housing ecosystem in Chicago were able to design and practice what it means to reimagine the homeownership system. Change Lab is working with a cohort of community development, financial institutions, and housing counseling agencies in order to help them improve lending products for their communities. This is about equipping those partners with the knowledge, skills, and tools to be able to translate from the what to the how.
Homeownership is the true way to wealth building, equity, and a sustainable model of life for families.
Transit is facing a huge challenge right now. It's about to have a 20% funding deficit in terms of its operations. And if we don't fill that gap, we're going to have to massively cut our transit service, and we absolutely don't want to do that.
Transportation is one of the leading sources now of greenhouse gas emissions. It's one of the biggest contributors to global climate change. So there's a lot of aspects of transportation that we really need to deal with.
For transportation to be equitable, we need to have it be affordable, reliable, and sustainable. Many households are spending such a large proportion of their income on transportation. We need to deliver different alternatives.
When you think about the people who have the least amount of access and you're providing high quality access for them, right, it also impacts everybody else.
Collaboration with such diverse partners is really important because we're going to need everybody at the table. We're going to need all voices. We're going to need all supporters.
Collaboration, when you're doing it in the right kind of way with the right people and who actually listening to what you're saying, who are then taking that into account, that's ultimately going to improve the quality of lives in communities.
MPC has resources that some organizations don't have in order to support the effort. For example, we have research capacity, we have communications capacity, we have the deep policy knowledge and years of expertise and relationships. And so we can bring those to bear to advance transportation policy.
Zoning and land use are essential to the lives of residents. So it really determines how they experience where they live.
It's what isn't and is allowed on a certain plot of land. And there are different ways to define that through retail, through housing, through mixed development.
The zoning and land use assessment is a three-phase project that is really looking to build a shared understanding of the impacts around equity, sustainability, and public health that zoning and land use are having on our communities. So right now, we don't really have a clear understanding of the impacts that zoning and land use are having on Chicago's communities and people. We know that when the code was first created in the 1920s, there were inequities built into it, structural inequities. And so we want to better understand what those impacts are.
Residents are the essential voice because it's their community and it's their neighborhood. And so just off principle, it should be their voice, right? And we should be going into these spaces wanting to create a connection with them and a partnership, as opposed to telling them what we think is best for them.
The Zoning and Land Use Project is really collaborative with a number of different stakeholders who are involved. So stakeholders from government, from the private sector, from the community, and then also civic and academic institutions. We're hoping to produce recommendations that can make a lasting impact on Chicago's zoning and land use. We want to make the changes that we can in order to ensure people can have better quality of life.
At the end of the day, it's about impact. It is about outcomes. It's about a region where people are doing well, where all of us are doing well. If you can't imagine a better future, then it's very difficult to make change. You constantly have to think about what could be and be willing to put in the work to go chase it.